and we did not give any more tablets, and we let ourselves see and realize that we are about to drown. Either we learn how to swim or we drown, but we cannot exist in this illusory world of ours. And that is why we are saying that we need to work at that beautiful point of realization. It is my unique opportunity in this world. My unique opportunity. It is individually my opportunity, nobody else's. And I need to make sense of that. I need to make sense of my existence, of my God, of my world, and what I'm doing here, and what purpose has been designed for me. This is the story in its entirety. And this is what we have been talking about so far. That when we then come to that point and we become humble through devotion to Allah, which brings about that state of fluidity, we begin to reassess ourselves. And at every point we do tawbah in order to break those barriers that we have set in front of ourselves, both within our intellectual world and our emotional world, to say that this is less than befitting. Last night we had a discussion at somebody's house. May Allah bless the young man who organized this discussion. But the message that was coming across was this state of our insecurity, that we are unable to even entertain the thought of challenging the norms and the status quo. We are frightened individuals. There is nothing wrong in challenging. There is nothing wrong in asking. How can we truly submit from within, wholesomely, if there is no challenge, there is no understanding? It's a simple equation. Oh Lord, if we are true enough, as we stated yesterday or the day before, if we are truthful enough to ourselves, we can just go in that sajda and say, oh Allah, I am entertaining these thoughts. I am no longer ready to push away these thoughts and attribute them to the waswasa of shaitan. And these are true questions that are emerging from within me, and I need to be satisfied. And if you are my Allah, like the Allah that I have understood, the most compassionate, the most loving, the most tolerant, the most bearing, then oh Allah, I ask you to guide me. Why should you be a dictator? Why should you be an intolerant God? Why should you be such an oppressive entity? If you have created me, it is not out of need that you have created me. Look at me and look at you. Look at me. I am not even located by the best of microscopes on the face of this earth, and you have created an unending universe. What cause do you have to be intolerant anyway? And if you are intolerant, you're not Allah in the first instance. If we can arrive at that point through the principles that we have been talking about, the principle of fluidity, the principle of tawbah, and the principle of truthfulness, and if we are truthful to Allah and say, oh Allah, this doesn't make sense to me. Why should I be afraid of asking? Why? Why should I be afraid of asking? If you are going to fill your pit of hell with me, and if you are a tyrannical God, then there's nothing that I can do in any case. I might as well ask. Think about it. If he is going to fling me in the pit of hell, there's nothing I can do anyway. I might as well be a free man. But oh Lord, you have given this inquiring nature from within me. I am not satisfied. Should I be false to myself? Should I lead a life of lie? Or should I acknowledge this and be truthful to you? Oh Lord, if I cannot disclose myself fully to you, then where shall I go to disclose myself? Should I go to a prophet or an imam or an angel? But oh Allah, are they not mere reflections of your grace and your mercy and your beauty? What sort of Allah are you, that if I can disclose the truth, my intimate truth to my mother, but I'm afraid of you, then what sort of God are you? Surely a mother is a mere reflection of your beauty. You are motherhood in its entirety. We truly need to be truthful to ourselves. When we challenge something in Islam, we should not be insecure or frightened individuals. It is only the peeling of an outer layer of illusion in order to arrive at the truth of Islam. We need to have this audacity. We need to have this confidence. And this confidence is instilled by Allah from within. Think about this. On the Day of Judgment, there's a hadith. People will be taken by their forelocks of their heads, and being dragged into the pits of hell. And they shall turn to the arsh and call out, "Ma hakada dhannu bik." I did not presume this of you, O Allah. I did not presume this of you. As Ali ibn Abi Talib states in his Nahjul Balagha, Allah will say, "Stop," to the angels. They will stop. Allah will say, "Admit them into the folds of paradise." The angels will say, "But pits of hell have become incumbent upon them." Allah will say, "No, they have had a favorable opinion of me, and I cannot disappoint them." And Allah will say, "Admit them all in the folds of paradise." By God, we have conjured up a God somewhere in our minds. He is a frightful God. He is not a friendly God who is forever frightening us. And this insecurity has been brought about because of an idol created in the name of God. And this is the very idol that governs our inner being, our state of intolerance, our state of lack of mercy, our state of not being able to let go. This is directly proportional to the way in which we have understood Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. And hence the Prophet said, "Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbuhu." Your Lord is only in accordance with the way you are yourselves from within. If you begin to give, if you begin to expand, your Lord will expand in the same way. Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, if we are truthful to Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot disappoint us. We ask a simple question, "Oh Allah, why do you need all of us here in the first place anyway? You have created so much. You've got enough to look after. Don't take our burden on your shoulders. Let us be. Put us back into non-existence so that there's no accountability. If this is the way life is going to be. But if there is a beautiful end, then, oh Lord, direct us to it." This is how a yearning heart ought to be. This is how a yearning mind ought to be, inquisitive mind. Now, yesterday when we were talking, we could see the insecurity. Observe that state of fright and fear. And by God, this is what happens and what is supposed to happen to every soul as we burst forth. This is known as dying. The real meaning of death is not transition from this world into an abstract world. The real meaning of death is the cessation of presumption, to become that untarnished beauty once again, that is yet to be molded, that is yet to take birth, that is yet to be fashioned by the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the meaning of the true death, not the death that we talk about, in which I die and you subject me or give me to the earth to be consumed by the creatures of the earth, and then to decay and then to render into dust and ashes. That is not the real death. The real death is this death, when we come to point zero and we say, at this point in time, there are no intellectual presumptions, and there is nothing that governs my attitude, but I'm in the hands of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Now, in this discipline, we look at everything from within and apply it to the inner self. When Allah subhanahu